What's up, everybody? Good morning. Good morning. It is Monday morning, but it's later in the day than we typically are. I got to be honest with you. I feel like half my day is gone. Half my day is gone. I'm usually an early riser, but I will say lately, I don't know. My body's on some kind of weird clock that I did not give it permission for, and so, it kind of feels good to be on here a little later. I don't know. You guys, let me know how you feel. Is it weird to be on later? Did you like early morning better? Let me know what you think. I'm your host, Jessica Dugas. You're watching Project Joy Live, your weekday morning talk show, giving you that triple shot of good vibes. And we try to keep it high vibe. And I was talking to our very special guest behind the scene this morning, who is a superstar, by the way. If you didn't know, can't wait for you to talk to him this morning. But I don't know. I don't know if it's the 800 planets in retrograde or what's going on right now, but I'm just not feeling it lately. I'm not feeling it. But that's, as part of what we talk about here on Project Joy Live, which is that joy is your choice at the end of the day. And even when the shit hits the fan, even when everything is going crazy, guess what? It's still your choice to turn it around to see the positive and everything else. And so that's what we try to do here. Let me know if you're joining us live or on the replay. Go over to the comment section, say hello, let us know where you're joining from, and of course, what is bringing you joy today. Miss Brittany's here in her VIP seat in the front row this morning. And Brittany's like, this is weird, but only because I'm not used to it. But either it be morning or this, I'm going to still enjoy Project Joy. And I really appreciate that. It's hard as a creator to know when to put things out there. When are people going to be able to join in live? When are they going to be able to enjoy the show? And I think ultimately the people who enjoy this show are going to come no matter what. And so I really appreciate that about you guys. It is weird. It's feeling very weird right now. Like the sun's super bright outside. It's like, what the hell are you doing this time of morning being on the show? Almost afternoon, but it is a good time for our friends over on the West Coast because what is it? It's 8 o'clock there. So they're not. It's not 4 a.m. for them there, which is really nice. As I mentioned, we have a very special co-host for the show this morning. I was so I can't even really find the words, I'll be honest with you guys. Honored, blessed, excited, over the moon. There's a little reference to see my good friend, and you know him really well here on the Breakthrough Show Network. Kevin Kiley was, I'm just going to say, the star of Rent yesterday, and White Rabbit Theater production of Rent, and they performed, I think it's called Cheney Hall over in Manchester, Connecticut. He's nodding at me. Thank God I practiced that before. I think that's where it was, but it was so good. Kevin Kiley played Tom Collins. It was incredible. I'm not kidding you, cried through the entire things, even the moments that were supposed to be funny and everything else. I think it was because I knew that he was coming out. I also, if you haven't seen the production of Rent, you really need to see, or the movie or something, because there's so many good messages and it's such relevant to today, to everything that's going on in the world today. So it was so cool to see that. So look, I'm just gonna, without further ado, one of my dearest friends in the whole wide world, and Tom Collins in White Rabbit Theater's production of Rent. Please welcome to the show my dear friend, Kevin Kiley. Welcome, Kevin Kiley. I am so happy to have you back today.
Thank you for having me. This is the best way to start my day. And I love this time because I'm not a morning person.
I love it. I know. Well, and is it later? Is this better for you? Like, are you more awake?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to go.
So good. It's so good. Listen, it's amazing to me what you were able to do on that stage yesterday because um it's I think it's always interesting when you know somebody that's in a play because you or in any kind of performance because you know them on kind of a that personal level and then you just like it wasn't Kevin up there though yesterday.
Thank you. Yeah, it was one of the most incredible productions that I've ever been blessed to be a part of, and just I know that I wouldn't have been able to dig into the character without my angel, without my castmates, and just so much support and so much love that flowed through that
Yeah.
theater. It was just really special for that kind of show.
Yeah. Yeah. There was so many things about it that were amazing. It really was a fantastic ensemble of cat like the entire cast was incredible and it just worked and I think that's really magical when that happens because um you see the movie of Rent, right, and they have a pool of whoever they want to cast in a
Right.
movie like that, but when it's a local production, I imagine finding that perfect Tom, that perfect Angel, that perfect Maureen, it's a little bit more challenging because it's a
Right.
kind of a smaller pool of people to pull from. But I feel like they really did a great job in finding like the just right people to play those
Yeah.
parts.
Yeah, I feel like everybody fit their characters really well, and especially as time went on, you just kind of become your character, and just, to be able to share the story, at least from, like, the Collins and Angel side, was something so special to me, and I know special to my counterpart, Angel. His name is Galen in real
Mm,
life. Um, and it was just really just a magical experience, and I've been performing since I was 5, and honestly, this experience was just very different and, like, the
yeah.
best way possible.
Yeah. Let's talk about Angel for a moment, who there would be no way on in heaven or hell that I could wear 6-inch heels or whatever those were. There were like 3 outfits with the heels.
Yes, yes, I know. It was I came to rehearsal one day, Boots came in, put him on, and Angel was there. He did it like no other, like such a champ, and it was really such an honor for me to be able to work with somebody, at his level, and just determination, and just it was really an honor for me to I couldn't imagine a better Angel in my
Yeah.
heart and in my life.
Yeah, and you have been in another production with him.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so how was the experience different with that? Because like, did you come in it with like a challenge and seeing him in a different role, or what was that like for you?
No, it's funny because, him and he was never supposed to be able to do his production, and neither was I. Like, the schedule just, I wasn't sure if I was able to, like, the schedule just didn't work out. He was doing another production. Like, even a week before, we were hanging out and we were like, yeah, like, that would be so amazing, but it just wasn't, like,
Yeah.
aligning in the stars. Obviously, you know the rest of the story because it did align with the stars and
Yeah.
it worked out and genuinely was just amazing. And he is the type of performer that, you could play a role like what he played in Spring Awakening when I was with in the show with him for that, and just effortlessly takes on this kind of character and this kind of role, and it was so easy, and like I actually have never felt so confident like on stage before with somebody and just in myself, and it was just very magical. I know I keep saying that,
Yeah.
but that's just the best way that I could describe it
Yeah.
from my point of view.
Yeah, and it was really incredible. Did you find any challenge with the fact that there has been a movie that was very popular made of this show, like to make this show? Did you find that like people try to make it their own, or what was that experience like? Because I feel like sometimes, especially people who don't love musicals like you and I love musicals, they may have only seen the movie and never seen like a production before, and
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes people come into it and they have these notions of like what it's supposed to be or what it's supposed to look like, and but I don't know, I found it was such a great mix of kind of everything. But what was your experience like, did you feel like you had to live up to anything, or
Yes, definitely. I was very nervous just for, what the show is, and I know how much the show means to people. Like
Mhm.
Rent itself has its own fan club that like so many people that have come in the audience like came up to me and told me they've seen Rent like 20, 25 times, like very educated Rent people. But so many people that were so involved with Rent were so, like you said, impressed with our production, which was really nice to hear because for me, it's like for Collins, it's like, I wanted to keep his true story
Mhm.
alive through the story, but I also wanted to play him in my own way. Like I wanted to bring the heart to him. I wanted to bring the heart to their relationship. And just when I let go of all the fear of what outsiders might say or expectations and just really got to zoom in on what I was able to do, that's when it all clicked. And it was just
Yeah.
like I put the boots on, I put the vest on, and it was like there he was. Like it was just like stepping into a new character. It was really,
Yeah.
really, really special.
Amazing. Amazing. I love, and you, like I said, you were Tom in for all intents and purposes in the show. Like I didn't catch Kevin there. It was Tom 100%, and you did such a great job in portraying him, and like you said, bringing the heart. And I think I knew now one of my favorite songs from the entire show is Cover You. Like and I knew it was coming because there's a scene for those of you that haven't seen the show. There, Angel, the partner of Tom Collins, dies, and they have the funeral, and there's a reprise of the song, and I knew it was coming, man. I knew, and I was crying before like the scene even got there. How did you hold it together during that song?
I did not. I did not hold it together at all, actually. But it wasn't visible to the audience because going back to what I said, the support that I had from the cast was incredible. Like every hug during the funeral scene was real. Every hug when I walked off that stage, Angel was waiting for me. So many of my beautiful cast members, the soloist that's saying her name is Jen. She's one of my great friends and just was such a support system this entire show. Shout out Jen. I think she's watching. Thank you for being the best support system as well. It was just such a cast of love and just really they were the ones that got me through it. And just like, oh, I didn't know he was watching. Hi, Galen.
I am gonna cry again.
Same. It was just very special, and I'm just very humbled and very, very, very honored, and just so much gratitude, so much gratitude.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, Galen, Jen, you guys, like, listen, when I'm telling you, I cried through the entire, I'm crying again now. It's horrible. But I would even love to hear from you guys out there what this show meant to you to do as well, because, um, and what some of your experience was. That would be awesome to hear from you as well. And I think it was Jen did the solo during Seasons of Love, right? Was that
During I'll
no?
cover your reprise.
Oh, okay, okay,
Yep,
okay.
yep.
Yeah, she was amazing. I'm sorry I can't keep together. How did you keep together? That was a big cast. Like everybody that was in it. How did you
Yeah.
remember everybody?
It just kind of happens, you
Yeah.
spend so many months with these people and just really just getting to experience it all. It's just and then it's over and it's like the magic that you created. The show itself, the dates, the times, the performances are over right now for this specific production, but the magic and the love and the hearts that were touched, that never goes away. And that's kind of
Yeah.
just what sticks here for me. And I know a lot of people in that big old cast as well.
Yeah, yeah. It was really amazing. The band was great that played with you guys also.
Hmm.
I thought that was really incredible because sometimes with you don't always have a live band, and so that was really nice to have that as well. And just I don't know, I go back to the fact that I think that every character was a perfect fit for what it needed to be. I couldn't have imagined it being anything different than what it was. Now, when I told you I saw Caitlin. which
Yes.
is a friend of Kevin's that I got to know through Kevin, out in the audience. And she said she saw the first performance and
Mhm,
was at that final performance yesterday.
mhm.
And she said, what an incredible, like, journey it was to, I almost wish I would have seen the first one now just to see that sort of. Do you feel that? What do you feel like, I don't know, was a big difference between that first and final performance?
Yeah, I just feel like, the last performance of something is so incredibly emotional as it is, and it's just like, you start this journey, and as you get the kinks out and just touch people's hearts, it's like you get finally to that last performance, and your emotion as a performer, like you just give it all you have, and your heart just gets left out on that stage, and it's just such a perfect show to be able to do that and to kind of find that outlet. And it was just really just the moving of everybody and everybody's emotions and everybody's excitement and just passion for what they were doing, and the storytelling was just really what made it so different and just
Mm,
so touching to so many people. Like, I've never had such, like I said, such an experience, and so many kind people that I never even knew or never even thought that I
yeah.
would meet. Like, we're in the show, we're in the audience, like saying things that, like, I just never would expect, because you do it for to make people happy, and sometimes you don't know what moves people, or
Right.
who's having a bad day, or what's touching them, more than you might realize. And that's honestly one of the main reasons why I am a performer, because I love being able to take people out of the crazy world we live in, whether that be for an hour concert or a 2.5 hour play or
Right.
whatever. It's like you get to escape reality and just fully um submerge yourself into this experience. And it's just something that really just, I'm very passionate about, and I'm
Yeah.
very so, honored to have had the chance to do it in so many different ways.
Yeah, I mean, you know that I resonate deeply with that. I mean, that's the whole reason I do these shows is, and even though so many of our shows touch on those reality things, there's something that's magical about bringing people together, about being able to reflect, because I feel like even Rent as a show does that really well. You're talking again, for those of you that have never seen the show before, please at least go watch the movie. Like, go immerse yourself in it for a minute, because I will be very frank and say um it is the only more contemporary musical that I really, really enjoy. Like, I've liked other ones, okay, but it's the only really, because that I like, the Singing in the Rain, and I like
Yeah,
the Oklahoma and Guys and Dolls and things like that. I like the old musicals, but Rent is something that's always been really special to me. And I don't know, it hits differently than a lot of other of the contemporary musicals. But the show touches on so many different things, and it takes place in the early 90s in New York City, and it touches on LGBTQ issues, it touches on homelessness, it touches on addiction, it touches on love, it touches on relationships, friendships,
yeah,
death. I mean, all of the things. And so that you're going to come into it and feel something. So even though it is an entertaining production, there's so much to learn from the show, I feel like. And it, like I said, it's very timely, even for me on a very personal level. It's very timely for me. And so I think that's why it hit me so
yeah.
emotionally yesterday. But I feel like every time I watch it, it's that way. What, even before you were in it, talk to me about what impact the show itself, or even just the concepts within the show has had on you personally.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So, fun fact, 10 years ago to the date, I did the show for the first time, actually, with Caitlin,
Mm,
at a theater in Stamford, and we were just in the ensemble, and I didn't really know much about Rent then, but
mm,
I learned so much about the story, and the story of it touched me in so many ways. Like, what it represents, what it stands for is so much of what I believe in and what I stand for. And just
mm,
in the end, the finale be, they say so often in the show, like, give in to love or live in fear, like all of these things about, like, no day but today, like, you know, just so many, like, just so many chances to just, be your authentic self. speak from your heart and just follow, follow that guidance that's there is really such a representation of the show. Dreams, hopes. It's like Angel was sick and unfortunately passes away in Act Two, but that never stopped her or him um from being happy and from being like the glue to the relationship between Mimi, Roger, Maureen, Joanne. Like he held it together, and it was just such a beautiful representation of how you wish sometimes that life could be, because obviously we all know that life is very hard, life is very
Mm,
challenging, but you do only get one life to live, and give into love or live in fear, forget regret, or life is yours to miss. Like those things just really stuck out to me and just really were moving throughout the whole process in the show. And before I was ever even cast in the show, it was just really something that I believe in and just touches me. And I
yes.
know that it touches a lot of other people in different ways, similar ways, but it's just one of those powerful, powerful messages throughout the whole
Mm.
thing, and so many different levels too.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, as the title of the show is today, no day but today. That's something that we take very seriously here on the Breakthrough Show Network, of being in the moment, being in the present, because there's no day but today. There's no moment but this moment. Truly, I mean, it's our memories, it's our choice to reflect, it's our choice to envision that takes us out of this moment. But there really is no moment but this moment. So we're going to take a quick break, and while we're on break, one of the things that I would really love for everybody to do is to think about that in this moment. There's no moment but this moment. So I want you to say something, anything, in the comments below, whether it's something that truly brings you joy today, something that maybe you've never said that you've always wanted to say, something that's just simply for this moment, a piece of advice, some wisdom, anything you want. I would love for you to share in the comments below while we're on break. And we're going to come back with more of Kevin Kiley right after this. So don't go anywhere. Breakthroughs are about more than you might think. They're about discovering who you are, digging deep, reaching to the core of your soul. They're about healing yourself, understanding your beliefs, creating a ripple effect. And it's not just those initial moments that matter. It's about using them to bring more joy into our own lives and the lives of others. It's about having fun, letting loose, enjoying every moment life has to offer. It's about finding a safe space. It's about creating connection. Join us each and every day for exclusive programming, special events, and a community to call home, where we invite you to explore, change the way you look at and live your life, and go beyond the breakthrough. So we ask you, are you ready? We'll see you online at thebreakthroughshow.com. Welcome back to Project Joy Live. It is Monday, September 4th, 2023. I'm your host, Jessica Dugas. We're here with a very special guest this morning. Kevin Kiley's here today, one of my dearest friends, and we're on the flip side of his performance as Tom Collins in White Rabbit Theater production of Rent. It took place in Manchester, Connecticut. I had the privilege of seeing that final show yesterday, and honestly, that I knew, having performed on stage myself, I knew that last performance was absolutely the one that I was going to want to see, because y'all were going to leave it all out there.
Mm-hmm.
The whole thing. The whole
That we
thing.
did.
And you did. And everybody, like, I'm watching everybody take a bow after, and the glistening faces on all of you, because you were all probably sweating too, but you were all crying
Yes.
at the very end, which was fantastic. Listen, Galen said performing opposite Kevin felt like a dream come true, and every single time I stepped on stage with him. I knew we were going to create something amazing, and this whole cast was wonderful to work with. Stop it. You're going to make us all cry again.
Oh my God. I just want to say, if he's still listening, I'm not sure, but shout out to you, Galen, because, I don't know if you caught the beginning of this, but you have made this experience so incredibly special for me. And just, I've never felt so loved and so confident and so safe on stage. And I just had the time of my life up there with you. I'm so proud of you.
So good. So good. And we all want to know how you did it in those heels because I just can't. I can't. I can't. It looked like I would throw my back out with those the moves and the shoes and you did that thing. Let me tell you. You did it
Listen, he
100%.
learned today for you the first day in 30 minutes. And I was sitting there like on the chair because
What?
we do some stuff together. And I was like, I would still be learning that, and he learned it probably like 3 months ago. I'd still not even have the first half down. It was incredible. I was in such awe.
Brittany's like, all the love is making me emotional. I'm here for it. I wish Brittany was closer and I could have picked her up and brought her with me yesterday.
I
She would have
know.
loved it. It was so good. Yeah, so just amazing, amazing show. I found this article that talked about 15 life lessons from Rent. And I wanted to run these down to tell me what you think of these, Kevin, as
Sure.
well. The first one is it's hard to let go of the past, but you must move on.
Mhm.
And that's tough. There's a lot of that theme running through that show, where it talks about things from the past.
Yeah.
I think Roger talks a lot about, things that happened before, and then Mimi as well.
Yeah.
um and so I love that one. And then number two is live up. This is a given for me, to live in the moment and live each day like it's your last. And sometimes can be hard for us to do because I feel like we go through the motions sometimes of those everyday things, the paying the bills, the going to work, those mundane laundry and groceries,
Yeah.
things that we have to
Yeah.
do. And I feel like we fight as humans that every single day of going like, this isn't what makes my heart happy. This isn't what I want to be doing in the moment, but it's maybe what we have to do
Right. Right.
to keep going. So that's tough.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's tough.
Yeah, and it's so hard to forget about, when you're doing all those crazy things like grocery shopping and things that need to be happening. It's so hard to remember that, like I said earlier, like you have one life to live, and just, all of those things are necessary to live, but you also have to remember the beauty of life. And sometimes it's so easy to get caught up in the not so easy times and the not so beautiful things. And it's just, really honing in on, live this moment as your last, because you never know, life is
Right.
weird, life is short.
Right. Absolutely. Number three is to express yourself when dealing with someone who is trying to destroy what you stand for. And I feel like this is something that I'm still trying to do. I haven't always um been tapped into my voice, and when someone's trying to like tear something down around me, to go, hey, like that's not right, that's not what I stand for. And I'm still is I think it's a day-to-day choice for me to learn to speak up for myself, and also not just myself but speak up for what's right.
Right.
In my mind. How has that been for you? Because I don't know, this is going to tie into another one of the lessons, but like um sometimes we can hide behind our work. We can express ourselves real well through that new song or that play we're doing or that show we're doing, but then outside of that, it's like maybe sometimes hard to speak up for ourselves.
Yeah, yeah, that's very very valid, and hits very close to home. um
I knew it
yeah.
would be.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's easy to, for me, it's like performing and writing my music and doing stuff like this is an outlet to be able to express what, sometimes you can't speak on, or you have a hard time, like, getting to the other side of certain things and whatnot. So that's definitely one of my downfalls. But
Yeah.
like, I'm so grateful that I have what I have to be able to use that as an outlet and a
Right.
platform and just, really like touch people with what I do because you know, me and you are not the only ones that do that. There's
Yep.
so many people out there in this world, and just even hearing that, like, that you're not alone in how you feel, you're not crazy or you're not stupid. I know that that means so much to people that maybe don't have the courage at all to
Yeah.
speak up or have an outlet to release. You know what I mean?
Right, right, absolutely. Number four, you already mentioned a little bit before. It says whether it be sexual orientation, race, personality, or style, be yourself. People who care about you will accept it and embrace it. And that's another
Absolutely.
one that I feel like has been a work in progress for me. Absolutely.
Absolutely. And that's tough. Like, that's
Yeah.
tough to even like believe when it comes to yourself. But
Right.
it's true. It's like the right people will always accept all of you and love all of you, even the weird sides, even the not so great sides, like all of that.
Right. Right. Yeah, it's a challenging one for sure. Number five, you will never share real love in a relationship until you love yourself. Now, I don't this is one that I've gone back and forth with a lot because I do think that for me, I have always loved other people really hard, even in moments, even in my darkest moments where I didn't really love myself at all. So
Mhm.
that part, this one is a little bit challenging for me, but I do get the point. I think that maybe it takes love to a different level
Right,
than it did before. So what's
right.
your feelings on that?
I actually agree with that because it's kind of a, a double-handed thing. It's like, yes, but
Yeah.
like at the same time, it's like, you know, I've also had moments like yourself where it's like, about me, but, like, that doesn't change what's in here, like, for what
Mm,
I give to other people, which is, something that I need to work on, which I am working on, but
yeah. Yeah. And maybe Galen, if you're still here, you could chime in on this question as well, because this is one thing I was thinking about in regards to Angel, that character. One of the things I mentioned to a friend the other day was that I feel like a lot of times we give what we want so badly in return. And I notice this a lot with myself. Like I will do a lot of planning for other people and reaching out and all of this stuff because that's what I would like to receive. And so I think about that in the character of Angel. Like Angel's always so giving and wanting to do for other people. And I think maybe, she wants to receive that back. And that's why she does so much for other
yeah,
people.
yeah, yeah, and for me, from my standpoint on that, I just feel like she found that with Collins,
Yeah.
and it was
Yep.
it was just really just from the minute we came out, we do You Okay Honey first, it's just like the magic between Angel and Collins is like and it just keeps going. Even when Angel's gone, it's like the
Yep.
beanie, the story, the end. Like it's just like love like that never dies. Like whether you know
Right.
what I mean? Like really
Right.
special.
And speaking of relationships, number seven is did we skip five? Yes, we did skip five. Let me back up because these both tie into it. Number number six was to be expressive in a relationship and fight for love. And number seven is life is short. If you find someone who understands you, don't give up on it. Trust is important in any relationship.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's very
fighting
true.
fighting for love, I think, is so important, and that trust in relationships, absolutely. And number eight, to take a line from one of the songs, and I think this is what Angel's shirt said at the end. It's to measure your life in love.
That's right.
So I loved that moment as well at the
Yeah,
end.
it's so
um
true.
Number nine, distance can sometimes be a good thing, especially in relationships.
Mm,
And so like you see that moment in the show where they take a little bit of time and then but then they're able to come back with sort of these new experiences and a fresh face
right,
and fresh
right,
thoughts on relationship.
right. Agreed.
Yeah. Love that one. And then this number 10 is the one I mentioned before. Sometimes we distract ourselves from emotion through our work.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we see that in the show in Mark's character, absolutely.
Right.
And touches on it again till he realizes at the end, I think it's Roger that points it out to him and like, dude, like, what are you doing to deal with your stuff? All you're doing is hiding behind your camera, kind of thing.
Yeah. Alone. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I that's definitely I know Brittany, if you're still out there as well. We've talked about this one before. It's like keeping busy with that stuff so that we don't have to deal with whatever is going on.
Yeah.
Number 11, I love this one because it's something that I've chosen to do in my life, and that is friends are the family you choose.
Mhm.
And so, there's a lot of us, and we see this sort of dynamic in Rent as well, where they might not have had the greatest families growing up. They
Right,
might not
right.
have had, they might have had family members that have had, been really challenging, but you can create the family that you desire through your friends that you make, right?
Yeah. One of excuse me, one of the lyrics is "Friendship is thicker than blood," and Happy New Year.
Mm, yeah, yeah. I feel like Rent is one of those ones that you can go back and watch or listen to 8 million times and pick up on little things like that. That's like, oh, I
Yeah.
didn't hear that
You'll
there
always find something
before.
new. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. Number 12, stand up for what you believe in and always be there for your friends. We see, what character is really interesting is Benny.
Mm.
Um, because it's a love to hate him kind of
Yes.
character, I
Yes.
think.
Yes, yes.
And it's interesting with that one because you do see at the end Tom, like, they go off and have a drink or whatever together. And I think, do you feel like there's goodness in Benny there, that like the he just got caught up with the wrong like people or forgot where he came from, maybe? Like, why do you feel about that
Yeah.
character?
I do, I do. Benny's definitely a tough one, but I do feel like, that's like a growing point for him because they were all friends. They were all roommates, like,
Right.
including him. Like, he also was one of them that really had nothing until he was married to, Allison. Um, but so he didn't have to do that. He didn't have to help Collins out in a moment of really weakness and sadness, but he does. And, like, I feel like that's him finding his heart again and, reminding himself that these are your friends. These are people that you care about. Like,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like he
that's
woke
awesome.
up almost kind of thing.
Right. Yeah, it's interesting to see. It's sort of it's a character, I feel like, that you don't immediately like think of when you think of Rent, but when you watch it, especially when you've seen it numerous times, and you're like, you start to understand, I feel like, him a little
Right.
bit more and where he could be coming from and what brought him to where he's
Right.
at now. It's an
Right.
interesting character to watch. Brittany said yes, drowning in my work helps me to process things better sometimes. Galen said, I think Angel absolutely hopes to find love like what they give so freely, and that's the most beautiful part of the relationship between Collins and Angel. Their love exists so equally. Yeah, I love that, Galen. Thank you for sharing that. Because I think that I just started thinking about that with Angel yesterday about how they give so freely, and perhaps that's what they wanted to find, and they were able to find that, like you said, with that relationship with Tom.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Number 13, one life can leave an impact on so many.
Oh my
And
gosh. Yeah.
yeah, sometimes you just don't know.
Right.
You have no
Right.
idea the impact you're having on other people.
No. Right. And that was totally like I feel like that's totally what Angel was in Rent. Angel was
Mhm.
such a light for everybody.
Right.
And the impact on somebody like Mimi or Roger who like almost took their life so many times and just things like that. Like, but just to have that little bit of hope, like that it really does go a long way. And you don't sometimes you don't even realize that.
Yeah. Yeah. Number 14, rent embodies more than simply paying for a place to live. Rent symbolizes being affected by grief and rage. In love, it displays that time is short. And there's a line in the one song that you and Angel did together. It says, I think they meant it when they said, you can't buy love. Now I know you can rent it.
Mm.
And that's a beautiful sentiment, I think. And sad at the same time of
Mhm.
how short life is, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's eye-opening, honestly.
Yeah, yeah. Finally, Rent demonstrates that in any aspect of life, there is no day but today, no moment but this moment, no time like this time. And it is our choice whether we want to spend that time. I think we've talked about this so often on this show that there is absolutely value in reflection and there is absolutely value in manifesting and envisioning for that future. But sometimes when we spend all of our time in reflection and envisioning, we're missing what's going on right in this moment right now.
Mm. That
It's
was
hard.
beautiful.
It's like being a fortune
Damn, bro,
cookie
you're
or
gonna
something.
make me cry. It's early in the morning. Come on now.
Wait,
5 hour
early.
weekend.
Hello, it's later. It's later than normal here, sir. Um, so speaking of I don't know, what's your biggest takeaway from let's start with your biggest takeaway from playing the character.
I would say really just staying true to who you are and, going through even difficult times and still coming out on the other side as who your heart is, as who you are, and really just standing up for what you believe in, going after your dreams, believing in love, loving others, and just really it's so much of me, but like just playing him, it just
Mm,
took it to the next level. And it really just opened my heart and opened my eyes to just new possibilities and new strengths for me, as a performer and what I'd like to carry, through my just everyday life and skill
mm.
set and stuff like that. It was just really just the whole experience was just heartwarming. I just can't really explain it any other way
Yeah.
than just gratitude, honestly.
Well, I'm going to give you a moment to be in that gratitude and so you're receiving a Tony Award on this show for your performance. Do your sp-
Thank
give
you
give
so
your
much.
speech. Give your
Oh my
speech, Kevin. Go
gosh.
ahead.
Oh my
Now,
gosh. Are you kidding me?
you have center stage.
Okay, let's do this. Okay, I'd like to thank the Academy. No, but seriously, if I were to be winning a Tony Award, I would speak on behalf of my incredible cast, and I just shout out to them, shout out to the production team, to everybody, backstage, to everybody on stage, to everybody in the sound booth. Like it genuinely takes a village, and so much from what people don't know what's going on backstage is just crazy because there's a whole show going on backstage with costumers, with lights, with quick changes and set pieces and stuff like that. So shout out to all of them. Shout out to the entire cast that made this possible, and just had so much love for everybody, and it was just so special to see that. Shout out to my angel. I've told you this plenty of times, but I will never forget this experience, and I'm so grateful that I got to have this with you, and it's something that I know that I'll hold in my heart forever. And yeah, I'm like super emotional, so I'm gonna cut my Tony Award speech short, but gratitude, 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 and love.
I love it. I love it. Galen said, I've longed to discover something as true as this is. They do find that in each other. And I think that inspires everyone around them. That was my goal as Angel, to inspire that love. I'm just glad that your goal was not coming out at the end like you did and making all of us sob even harder than we already were. There's a moment where they're all singing the final song and Angel comes out and stands there because you know that Angel's an angel at this point, right? And turns around and there's the angel wings. I am so grateful that I filled my purse with tissues because, because literally, and then the lights come up and you look around and everybody's sobbing.
Yeah.
Everyone is. I mean, Galen, I just have, even in that moment, you didn't have to say a word. You'd had so much poise and grace and just this beauty about you in the moment. Just that one turn, and it was like we were done.
Yeah,
We were done. It was amazing.
it
It
was
was
such a special
amazing.
moment in the show. It felt whole, like everybody was on stage, and like that was the last puzzle piece.
Yeah. Yeah, so good. And thank you for your speech, Kevin. That was beautiful. Well done. As much practice as you can get, my friend, because you have many things going. One of the things that blew my mind, I want to touch on this really quickly, is that at the end of the show, I was waiting, the show's over. I was waiting for Kevin to come out and say hey. And there were people coming up to you that had no idea that you have music out there. They are clearly living under a rock, and we want to help them out. You can find Kevin's music on literally all the platforms, on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, all of those things. But we want to hear what's coming up next.
Oh my gosh. Okay, you know what? I have something for you.
Oh,
November November 19th, I will be performing at the Triad in New York City. I'll be making my New York City debut. I will be performing my newest single, Climbing, and my Christmas song, Christmas Wish. So that's what's coming up next. I'm super excited about that. I'm back in the studio next week, but shh, I didn't tell you that. I am. I'm back in the studio. So
you heard it here
really
first.
exciting things to come.
It would not be a proper episode of anything on the Breakthrough Show Network if Kevin didn't drop some news or hints or something.
Or a speech, if you will.
A speech. I love it. I love it. So back in the studio, we're excited about that. And you've kind of like taken us on a journey with your music. Do you anticipate something to continue the journey, or do you anticipate like maybe a new start or something? I don't know.
A new beginning is
New
coming
beginning.
for me.
Love that. We're climbing. Maybe we're reaching the top.
That's right. Stay tuned.
All of it. Thank you so much for being here today. I'm
Thank you for
so
having me.
really again, so I was so moved by the entire performance. Congratulations to all of you that were part of the cast and crew of Rent, and that's again White Rabbit Theater in I know the performance was in Manchester. Where is White Rabbit Theater housed?
They kind of flow
Yeah.
around South Windsor, Manchester area
Okay.
because
Awesome.
they
And
rent
that's
out the
in
theater for the performances.
right. Okay. So that's in Connecticut for
Yes,
those of
yes.
you that haven't figured that one out. But we love that. And I know that they have other opportunities for auditions and stuff for next year's performances. So make sure you guys go check out on social media as well. And see how you can get involved, because definitely local theater, there's just something really special about that. And I know that it has a special place in your heart as well, Kevin.
Absolutely.
Love it. Quickly, would you like to do birthdays before we go?
I would love to do
You're
that.
gonna can you be the singer of the happy birthday
I don't
today?
have much of a voice left to
That's
be
okay.
completely. Well, my voice is shot right now, but I will dance along while you sing.
No, I can't sing while you're on the show. That's
No voice
no,
right now. I woke up with
unacceptable.
nothing. It's like a squeak.
Okay, in the celebrity world, Beyonce is 42 years old today. Happy birthday,
Queen
Beyonce.
bee.
Mark Ronson, 48 years old today. Happy birthday, Mark Ronson. Damon Wayans, are you sitting down? Damon Wayans is 63 years old today.
Wow, happy birthday.
I don't even know what to say about that. I'm having a moment here. Also, we had a couple of birthdays this past week that are celebrities in our lives here on the Breakthrough Show Network. Haley Halleck had a birthday. Happy birthday, my friend. Also, Juliet Stapleton. I hope you had an amazing birthday, and we would love to celebrate here with you this morning. Are you ready, Kevin?
I'm ready.
Here we go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Beyonce, Mark Ronson, Damon Wayans, Haley Halligan, Juliet Stapleton. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to all
Happy
those that are
birthday.
celebrating. Yes. Thank you again for being here, my friend. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And thank you to all of your castmates who chimed in the comments. We really appreciate your perspective as well. And anytime you guys want to come on the show and talk about what you're doing and the joy that it brings into your life, you are welcome. You can chat with Kevin and Kevin can chat with me, and we'll make it happen.
We
We'll make it
will,
happen and we'll have a
absolutely.
good time. Yes. Except Galen, you can only come on if you're not going to make us cry. I'm determined that's Galen's real goal in life.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Kevin, I love you so much, my friend. Thank you so
I love
much
you
for
too.
being here. And I love you all so much for being here. Thank you so much for being in the comments today, whether you're live or on the replay. I'm your host, Jessica Dugas, and I want to remind you to make joy a priority in your life today and every day. We'll see you next time, everybody. Bye.